How can botanical synergy help with the epidemic of chronic disease in the United States and the rest of the world? We have been having for the last 20 years a steady increase in heart disease. 1 in 3 humans now will be getting cancer at some point in their life. Diabetes incidence has doubled since the year 2000. We have an epidemic of obesity and arthritis. And part of the problem, I do believe, is an over-reliance on single molecule drugs. About 75% of our diseases are chronic diseases now, which is something by definition that the medical system is not adequately addressing, with only 25% being acute conditions. And I think that plants offer a wonderful opportunity to solve a part of this problem, largely because they can often offer a high degree of efficacy at a much lower level of toxicity and better tolerability than single molecule drugs. One of the reasons they do this is because they are addressing multiple chemical pathways at the same time and helping to stabilize biologic networks. There is something that is called synergy, which is where the whole of these different plant chemicals is greater than the sum of the parts. And there's a reason why plants use mixtures to create chemicals that affect other organisms or to affect physiology specifically. And that's because mixtures actually work better in the real world when plants are faced with evolutionary pressures. They have self-selected mixtures to do a lot of their work, whether that be in self-defense against predators or herbivores trying to eat them, whether that plants will actually use molecules to heal themselves if they've been crushed or damaged. And I have a whole set of video clips on this that you can check out. Today I want to talk about this plant synergy where the combination of molecules adds to a better or greater effect. And in the next video clip we will discuss how they decrease bad side effects. But today we're going to talk about benefits. And I want to talk about 3 plants as individual plants that outperform the single molecules that they produce, and also blends or combinations of herbs that botanists and herbalists, naturopathic doctors blend together to achieve these same synergistic purposes. And I think it's really worth emphasizing the vast majority of botanical medicine practice today uses multiple plants or combinations of plants. And I hope you'll see a little bit of perhaps why that makes a lot of sense. First thing I want to talk about is cannabis. Cannabis, whole plant cannabis, offers much better effectiveness against spasticity than the single molecule THC itself. Also, whole plant cannabis can be 2 to 4 times greater in its effectiveness to treat chronic pain than just utilizing the isolates. And also there's a lot of good evidence that combinations of cannabinoids such as CBD plus THC can have benefits that are not found when those molecules are not used together in the plant. Another one of my favorite plants, St. John's wort, Hypericum, is another great study in how whole plant combination of mixtures can achieve equal or greater results to pharmacologic single molecule therapy with better tolerability and less toxicity or fewer side effects. St. John's wort makes a molecule called hyperforin, and hyperforin is a reuptake inhibitor of some of the neurotransmitters that you may have heard of before: serotonin, dopamine. When these molecules reuptake is inhibited, there are a higher degree of them in the synapse. Also, this molecule from St. John's wort does also affect GABA. So 3 of our classic feel-good neurotransmitters, serotonin, GABA, and dopamine, their reuptake is inhibited. And many scientists, when they first looked at the plant, they thought, oh, that is the molecule that makes this plant effective. But we now know from studies that there are combinations of effects happening. There are procyanidins that also assist in this reuptake inhibition, so they help the hyperforin also increase those levels of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. And the whole plant also has phenols, which increase the bioavailability. So when we look at experimental data, we can see that there is an antidepressant effect from St. John's wort at much lower levels of the leading chemical or leading compound than we would expect. And so that the total extract and not the isolate explains the full antidepressant effect. And again, this is multiple pathways. Think of it as addressing and stabilizing a network as opposed to working on just one single pathway. Also, willow, which is very good and effective. Aspirin comes from willow. I did a whole video clip on this, which I'll link to. But the polyphenols that are present in willow prevent some of the stomach irritating effect that we find in aspirin. Also want to talk about blends today. One of my favorite class of herbs, helps us think better. Ginkgo is known to be one of these herbs, and also ginseng, known separately to help cognition. If we look at arithmetic tests to gauge cognition and speed, ginkgo can help increase the speed with which we can do mathematic calculations, and ginseng can increase the accuracy. But when we combine them together and we put humans through a test, something called the serial sevens, 7, 14, 21, 28, you know how to do it, but keep doing it, keep doing the math. The combination of the ginseng along with the ginkgo together provides a synergistic effect, so that not only the speed but also the accuracy is increased. We also know for sleep and anxiety, kava kava has very good effectiveness against anxiety, as does passion flower. Each of these can relieve anxiety on their own, but if we are hoping for the patient to have sleep, especially from stress-induced loss of sleep, the combination of the passion flower with the kava together leads to greater results. And one of my favorite botanical blends is called Iberogast. It's a combination of 9 different plant molecules. It's very effective for dyspepsia and irritable bowel syndrome. And I talked in a previous video clip about digestive health and herbs and why we need to use more than one class of herbs. Bitters, which stimulate the digestive juices and acids. Aromatics, which help increase peristalsis. And demulcents, which can soothe and offer anti-inflammatory effects locally, almost like a topical going through the digestive tract. So again, these multiple plant compounds, more effective than either separately, and again, think of this stabilization of a network. I'm Dr. Jake Felice. You can find me at sweetwaterholistic.com. I've got a bunch of videos on all aspects of natural health up there, and thank you so very much for listening. I really appreciate it. Cheers.